The Mexican Revolution was a decades-long storm that started in 1910 and reshaped Mexico. At the top sat Porfirio Diaz, a dictator who had ruled for over 30 years. Under him, foreign investors and hacienda owners thrived. Workers lived in misery and political opposition was crushed. But little did he know there was an outlaw from the north. A bandit and a soon-to-be folk hero who was called to assist in the reformation of Mexico against the dictatorship. The outlaw known as Pancho Villa. If you're new here, I'm Sean. I turn education short form for your attention span. And I would appreciate your likes, follows, and shares, as well as comments on what I should cover in the future. Enjoy the video. Francisco Madero was a wealthy reformer educated abroad who called out Diaz's corruption. Demanding free elections, Madero was the spark and rallying cry of the revolution. Diaz jailed him, but Madero escaped and called for Mexicans to assist him in this reformation. And the one man who answered was Pancho Villa. Born Doroteo Arango in 1878, he fled into outlaw life after defending his sister and reinventing himself as the Villa. When Madero called for his revolution, Villa raised the División del Norte, a cavalry of peasants, ranchers, and outlaws. Under his leadership, the cavalry became the most dangerous revolutionary army, complete with cavalry charges, mobile artillery, and even armored trains. Meanwhile, in the south, Emiliano Zapata fought for peasants with the slogan Tierra y Libertad. Together, Villa and Zapata embodied the people's fury. Villa in the north and Zapata in the south. But after toppling Diaz in 1911, things became a little dicey for Mexico politically. Madero ended up becoming president, but he struggled due to being too moderate for the revolutionaries and too radical for the elites, which led to other leaders like Venustiano Carranza and Alvaro Obregón, who pushed their own visions of Mexico. Carranza wanted a constitutional centralized government focused on legal reform and elite leadership, and Obregón wanted to modernize Mexico with industrial development and military discipline. And guess who didn't fuck with that? Villa stood for more of an egalitarian and populist idea. He advocated for poor peasants and soldiers and wanted equal land distribution and local autonomy. But when the US got involved in the Mexican Revolution, they backed Carranza, which left Villa feeling betrayed. In 1916, he launched a raid in Columbus, New Mexico, and killed 17 Americans. And the US retaliated by sending 10,000 troops to go hunt this guy down. But every single time through these skirmishes with the troops, Villa kept disappearing into the mountains again and again, outwitting one of the best armies in the world. But by 1920, Villa's star had faded and he eventually just made peace with all the governments, and retired onto a ranch. But unfortunately, in 1923, he was ambushed and assassinated, likely with official approval. Nowadays, Villa remains as a paradox, a ruthless warlord to some people and a Robin Hood for others. But there's no denying his impact along with the other military leaders he fought the Mexican Revolution with. They helped rip Mexico out from under a dictatorship and old order into modern history. Source: